This is really flying. Just second. Whoa!
I am absolutely addicted to airplanes. Everything about them excites me. So when my new buddy Roger invited me to fly in his 1941 Boeing Stearman, first I pinched myself to make sure that I wasn't dreaming, then I flew up to a small private airport just north of Lake Okeechobee, Florida, called Arrow Acres.
Arrow Acres, Cherokee, turning final, 27, Arrow Acres.
Every winter, Roger and his wife Therese fly the Stearman from Michigan to this flying community where every backyard leads to a runway. You know, kind of like in heaven.
So you're out there, you know, it's bugs in the teeth, you got your arm hanging out the cockpit, you cross country, you just get everything set and you cruise along. I'm seldom much over the cell towers. I'm 500 or 600 feet over the countryside taking it all in.
This particular airplane has a very rich history and served an elemental role in training military pilots during World War II.
And then after the war, it was sold as surplus and served through the 50s and 60s as a crop duster. Then in the 60s, sometime it was rebuilt and sold to some guys in Wendover, Utah. It's where I found it and bought it from a guy on April 1st of 1990.
Since that April Fool's Day, Roger has flown this beast of an airplane over 2,000 hours and has flown over every state in North America.
I started picking them off here and there. Like one time I went to the Galesburg Stearman flying in Illinois, came down and hit this Four Corners area here and picked up those 4 states. And then coming back and forth to Florida, I did the coast a couple times and picked up a bunch.
Oh, that smell. Oh, that smell. The best smell. I love that smell. Ready to taxi? Take it.
Arrow Acres traffic. Stearman back taxi, 9er, Arrow Acres.
Yeah, this is when the Bose headsets really need it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm liking mine. I got to get a cuff. I keep forgetting to get on Amazon and order a new cuff for the muff, for the mic.
Okay. What happened? Did it fly off?
Well, I just need a better one. I get ambient noise from all the wind.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm S-turning here, Alex, because I can't see anything straight ahead from back here.
Right.
So that's why the S turns.
Yeah.
So I sneak a peek, S-turn, sneak a peek. S-turn, sneak a peek.
If you don't do the S-turns, you have no idea where you're going.
Correct. Then on takeoff, you know, the takeoff roll until the tail comes up, I can't see anything. So there's a bit of a leap of faith there for you.
Yeah. Living in a flying community is a dream of mine. First it was becoming a pilot, then it was owning an airplane. Those two have been checked. This is the next thing. And here in Florida, it's perfect because there are so many of them.
How long have you been a private pilot?
About 2 years now.
Okay, it's kind of like me. I didn't get my license until my late 30s. I'm going to do a quick run up here.
All right.
Okay, both mags seem to be working. So I'm ready if you are.
I'm ready.
Arrow Acres traffic. White Stearman's going to depart 9er, Arrow Acres.
I've had a couple float planes. I have 300 or 400 hours on floats. Other than that, it's almost all tail wheel time, almost all antique stuff. This is kind of a rat trap, but it's still my favorite airplane and lots of fun. It looks pretty good from a distance. You get up close and it's pretty ratty. it's just been part of my life. It's become part of me. My personality and the airplane's personality have kind of melded together, and half the people I know in this world, the best people I know in this world, are probably because of this airplane. And I just love the airplane, and so far it's loved me.
The other day we were talking and you told me that somebody had an accident in this airplane. Tell me about that.
It was involved in 3 accidents that were reported and written up. And one of them was an air-to-air, a mid-air collision. And they were flying type formation, and with the lower right wing here, he clipped the lower left horizontal stabilizer of the guy next to him, and damage to both planes, but they got him on the ground, and
now the plane is here.
Now the plane, you know, was repaired and put back in service, I'm sure.
Here we go. Oh my God, this is really flying. I'm outside. I feel every... There goes the tail. And to wear off. Oh my God.
What do you think?
Amazing. This is really flying. I'm inside a cockpit. Now I'm like really flying outside. Wow. How could you ever get tired of doing this?
I don't. There's no bugs up here.
Yeah. Everybody calls him a Stearman, but that's a misnomer, but that's the common terminology, so we all go with it. But Lloyd Stearman, noted airplane builder back in the 30s, he was one of the pioneers of aviation, came up with this design called the Cloud Boy, which was pretty similar to this airplane back in the early 30s. And he tried to sell it to the military as a trainer, and they didn't buy it. A little while down the road, Lloyd Stearman sold the company to Boeing. Boeing took those Cloud Boy drawings, had their engineers kind of go through, and the Army and the Navy bought the basic PT17 design. World War II is imminent. They need training aircraft, and Boeing goes to work in Wichita and started building. They built 10,000 of them.
Tell me about your, you becoming a pilot. How did that happen? In what year?
Well, I took lessons as a kid, you know. I soloed at 16 years old, had about 20 hours, and then life got in the way. I always wanted to get back into it, and finally I just made it a bucket list thing to get my license before I turned 40, and was able to make that happen, and it's just been my passion since, flying these old airplanes. I've had other airplanes, float planes and different things, but the Stearman's always my go-to fun airplane.
It's a W670 Continental radial engine, 7 cylinders, 670 cubic inches, makes 220 horsepower is where it's rated. There were a lot of them made for tanks. This light tank, Stuart tank in World War II had that same basic engine in it, and a lot of the parts are interchangeable.
Wait a minute, you're saying that engine was actually intended for a tank? Like, you mean like a tank tank?
Right, yeah, the Stuart tank, World War II tank, had that engine in it for power. They were made in Muskegon, Michigan. I'm a Michigan guy, born and raised, and my mother worked at the Continental plant during World War II. She was kind of a Rosie the Riveter type, and worked there. So that kind of holds a little special value to me, the fact that my mother worked in the plant where these engines were made.
There's a fair amount of wind up here today.
Oh, this was incredible.
Kind of blowing me off my line.
And we're at 3,800. That was great.
The construction is all wood ribs. It looks like a little truss rafter in here, rib. And then the spar, there's a 4.5 spar. It's like a 1x6 piece of lumber. It goes here and one up forward here. Then this is just Seconite fabric. Back in the day, it was grade A cotton. But here we have 2 end struts. It's out here outboard on the wings. And then these are called cabane struts. And then everything's held together with cross wires. Typically in the Army and in the Navy, when they were instructing, the instructor rode up front, and there's a mirror up here so that they could hand signal. They could see each other's face in the mirror and hold a hand up and hand signal. The cockpit's very basic. You got an altimeter, oil temperature, oil pressure. Fuel gauge is this glass tube up here with a cork bobber up in the fuel tank. Fuel tank's in the center section there in the upper wing.
Right now there are these little tiny small little bugs. They're called love bugs, and there are millions of them everywhere. I can just grab them. Look, you see that? You know that meet that launch every Thursday here in South Florida? He's the one that organizes it.
It's called the Old Farts Flying Club. Every Thursday we fly, have lunch. We've gotten so big we can't just go to a restaurant at an airport anymore. A typical turnout these days is around 50 airplanes and 100 people.
If you want to see what it's like to join one of these launches, head over to the channel where I have documented exactly what the experience is like. All pilots, all these tables, talking about airplanes and pilot stories and anything in between. We have 3-4 more meets coming up. If you want to meet on Thursday with a bunch of really cool people in Talk Aviation, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description where you can add in your email, and there's no dues, there's no fees. You're just gonna get an email and you either show up or you don't. Very informal. That's what I like the most about it.
You want to take the stick?
Hell yeah.
Okay, just stick it.
Whoa, it's a little hot today.
Okay, so stick and rudder throttle's there in your left hand.
Yeah, okay. Throttle. I got it.
You got it?
Okay, I got the plane.
All right.
This is amazing. In the air, the airplane feels, it's really easy to fly in the air, but on the ground is where it gets complicated, right?
Yeah, they're a handful, but once you get used to it, they're really a nice airplane to fly. Arrow Acres traffic, Boeing Stearman is crosswind, going to enter left downwind for 9er at Arrow Acres.
Take it whenever you want. Whenever you feel good.
Okay, I got it.
Okay,
my airplane.
You got the plane.
Okay, here we go. You'll be surprised at how much it sinks. Like I mentioned on the drag.
Yeah.
It's all drag. Got the wind to live.
If you like these videos, I think that you're gonna like the next few videos that I have planned. In this one, I entered a landing competition in Miami, and in this one, we landed on the water.
Well, what do you think? Worth the trip up here?
Amazing. Watch the airplane there. Yeah, but toxin, this thing is crazy. I have no idea what's going on in front of me.